welcome to my channel. This is a reading for Libra for the month of July 16th through to the end of August. I do fairly lengthy readings, so I know this reading is not for everybody, but I'll try to give you a quick synopsis in the beginning of what the energies are surrounding the month of July through to the end of August. So again, it's July 16th because that's the date I'm really getting things out. And this will go through to the end of August. So for sure, Libra, you are absolutely working on something, and 100%. This is a long-term project, but you are definitely going to be seeing some successes starting to come through from now, I would say, right even into spring of next year and beyond. But I think a lot of the fruition of these energies are going to come through spring of next year, but it's going to be successes all the way through, all along the way, little bits of progress that you're going to note. So I should also quickly mention these are general readings. So because they are general readings, I do try to give you as much detail with as many different decks as I can, because I feel that every deck offers a lot more of a broader perspective, which can help a certain number of us to identify better than another deck. So the other part of it is because this is a general reading, I also want to make note of the obvious that, everybody's at a different stage of progression. So my feeling is that those that, for example, that are Libra, Pisces, whatever it is, whatever your sign, everybody is going through a degree of similar energies, and for sure I am somebody who is in strong support of astrology and how things play out, but I don't do those readings at this time. That is something I'm going to be working on though in the future. But for the moment, what I'm going to say is sorry, with the general energies, I do feel that there will be sort of some time lag for some of us. So because we're not all, meeting of the minds in 1 week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, coming together to create new relationships in our life, for example, there's going to be sort of a staggering and an overlapping effect is what I'm trying to get at here. So take it as it resonates. Don't try to force the fit, for sure. If there is something that appeals to you, that makes sense to you, that resonates in your life, then you can expand on it and move it in the direction that you feel it needs expression. And I feel a lot of tarot readings as well just help us to overcome or give us some insight as to blockages or obstacles, things that we can work on, because I feel that there are doorways of energy that open up to us on a regular basis, and they do change, and there are cycles, and as there is in nature, that help to develop us. So as those energy doorways open, I feel that it is an opportunity for us to transform ourselves and to become closer to the person that we were intended to be, getting a closer sense of who you are and what you're about. I think a lot of times in life we just react to the circumstances around us. We react to our relationships, simply because it's meant to evolve us. So as I say, anytime there is something new that can help to deepen your experience in life, and help to grow you, so long as it's not, everything tends to have a little bit of pain when there's some kind of self-exploration. But what I would say is that making sure to find a lesson in it, and know when to create some boundaries around the areas of your life that you may not be able to entirely face at this time. So again, small incremental changes is what really, for me, tarot is all about. Anyway, I'll just get right into the reading, because I know I do some really long readings. And again, I mean, this is for people that, if you're sitting up late at night, you're trying to do some other things and you're listening to the tarot readings, this is really for you, because that's how I listen to tarot and different YouTube channels. So anyway, a bit of a multitasker. Okay, so what I'll do is I will start with giving you a little bit of a synopsis on how the tarot came through for me on these reads for July 16th through to the end of August. Definitely, Libra, you are on a path of success. Every card pretty much in this reading spoke to nothing but prosperity, nothing but success coming through. But I should also make note that we're dealing with energies of spirit and energies of the physical realm. You can't just have insight and no application, no action. So for those that are waiting for something just to fall before them, it's not going to happen like that. Everything takes action. You need to have steps in place, but you're given the wisdom through spirit to be able to take that action in the physical world and make things materialize. And again, they're energy doorways to help us to communicate and move things ahead. So again, with this reading, everything speaks to pretty much, I mean, with the exception of maybe an odd few cards that you might be challenged by, which really relate to yourself, not so they're more self-imposed obstacles versus anything specifically being in your way. I did feel that there was going to be some kind of you're going to be better communicating with family, with friends, possibly with lovers as well. There's some kind of sense of renewal or reconciliation with people that you may have pulled away from, especially given the pandemic. I mean, with coronavirus and all of that, it probably did isolate a lot of us for the most part. So I feel that there is going to be more of a reconnection, and I think there was a lot of soul searching that people had to do and able to overcome some of the difficulties that they were presented with, reinventing ourselves, on the material front and all of those things. So I should mention, for those that are new to my channel, thank you for stopping by and allowing me to do this reading for you. As I say, I know they're fairly lengthy and it really takes some commitment to listen. The other, and certainly those that are in support of my channel, again, I want to tell you how much I very, very much appreciate your support, and that you are committed to, to the detail that I provide in the readings. So thank you again for stopping by to both. And so if you are new to my channel, just a quick rundown of the layout. Everything that's basically on the periphery really, and I have some cards off to the side here as well, are really more so to the general energies. I don't do specifically anything related to relationship. I do try to focus more on a lot of material stability, spiritual growth, that kind of thing. I think relationships need their own reading because they are so complicated, but I do touch on them simply because a lot of our spirituality, a lot of our own growth, a lot of our relationships to money, work, and work life, and all of that, are in tandem. So you can't really go one without the other without having, interaction with other people. So there may be some elements relating to a partnership or, whether it's romantic or otherwise, that come through in the reading. But again, I don't really fully develop it other than just to touch on it and give you an area that you might want to explore other tarot readers with that. So again, the outside is really relating to more of the peripheral energies, general energy, everything that is in the bottom section here. And I know some of the cards are out of the way, but I'll bring them forward as I read. Those would be related to the financial aspects. So I didn't feel specifically that there was a lot of people coming through in your reading. I feel that for the most part you will be doing some form of collaboration. I do feel that you're still working on yourself, getting over your own blockages and hurdles. I don't think that you necessarily believe that you can do what's going to happen. I feel that you're on the on the precipice rather, of something about to materialize. And between the period of July 16th through to the end of August, there will be some light that is brought about to show you that you are cultivating that prosperity. So everything beyond that, as I say, I feel that you've been working on this for some time. This is not you just planting seeds here in the beginning of July 16th through to the end of August. This is about a progression. This is continual progression. And again, I feel that the biggest flourishing will probably come in the coming year, sometime in around spring. I think you'll see the biggest leveling up that you would not have anticipated. I do feel, and again, this is relating to those that are actually taking action. You have to be able to balance the energy between spirit and the physical realm, and doing the work means you get rewards. That's why we're here. That's why we're in the physical realm, to manifest things. This entire reading, as I said, was all about manifestation. It's all about, reaching goals and satisfaction. There are some gifts coming through from the universe in this period of July to August. You definitely have some new learning that's coming forward. You do have some areas where you might be just feeling a little bit of restriction. As I say, there's some clarifiers that I pulled toward the end here as well. Libra does pull up in the reading itself toward the bottom here. But again, lots of insight coming through, and for sure moving away from a lot of these issues. But there is some really, really strong ancestral energy coming through here. So for those of you that lost people over the COVID situation, or even just relevant to other circumstances, I do feel that you've got ancestral energy coming through here. It might have been, those ancestors that passed even long before that, but there is definitely some very strong intuitive energy coming through. And more specifically, I feel this is coming through from somebody that has been relatively close to you. They are there, they are present, they are helping you to manifest whatever this project is. This is a soul's calling. This is what's happening with that. This is something you've been preparing for all of your life. I do feel that you may not have taken very strong action on it throughout the course of your life. There may have been some incremental steps, but nothing really pulled together. But this is all coming together as of this year through to next year. This is your soul's calling. So this is not just about building prosperity. This is about building a level of confidence within yourself that is about service. This is about you giving something back to the world that the world needs to have. Something about your gift is extremely relevant for the time, and it is something that needs to be brought to fruition. I feel that some of the issues you're dealing with revolve around you not believing that you're capable of doing it, you trying to be overly perfectionistic about your motivation, and I don't feel that that's what's required here. I do feel that you need to have a strategic plan from the onset, which I think you've already put in place. As I say, I feel that you've been working on a whole bunch of different ideas, but they're really one and the same. So throughout your life, you've been accumulating different maybe hobbies or ideas, things that you don't realize are actually all a part of the same soul's calling. Somehow you're going to emerge and merge all of this into this soul's calling, a lot of these elements. So the other part of it is you needed to surrender. And again, surrendering to the higher power, surrendering to a part of this spiritual process that you're not. I think it's about willingness to give up control. I think that there is some feeling that you need to control a situation and able to bring about the resolve, but you're being asked not just once; it's in repeated cards throughout this entire reading. This is a part of your DNA. This is a part of your ancestral lineage. All of these gifts that are coming to you, and you need to surrender to it. So you need to give up trying to bring it all to perfection before it gets launched. I feel that you're being asked to, and here's why. I'm going to say this. Sometimes when we're too perfectionistic about it, and we're trying to make something a real strong business-oriented picture that we have in our heads, we tend to create a layout that looks great. The problem is it may take a different trajectory altogether, and your original layout no longer serves the direction that it's moving in, and when I say moving in, it may be that other people, which I feel are also a part of this, other people will be coming in to assist you, and they may take it in an entirely different direction that you had initially planned out. So that's why I say don't be too perfectionistic about the initial layout of how you're perceiving the idea, because I feel that this is going to be taken in a slightly different direction than you had visualized. So there's also some elements here that that come through in regards to music. I feel that there's the entire reading on the average is about creative expression and the need to listen to music for healing, for motivation, for genuine pull in the direction that you need to go. There's something about music that needs to come forward, and finding your voice is going to come through when you take the time to cultivate some of those things that help you to feel grounded, centered, and somehow music is a big part of that. And I'll make reference to binaural beats, because binaural beats is another channel that I've listened to as well, and they have different elements for healing aspects of yourself, and those vibrational energies help to raise your vibration. Music helps to raise your vibration, but it also different overlapping sounds help you to regenerate elements of your organs, or cleansing of the mind, getting rid of negative energies, creating positive energies. You can simply enter that in binaural beats healing. And you're going to see just an array of different elements that it can affect. But again, I mean, it doesn't have to be specifically binaural beats, but I have used a deck that's called Sacred Geometry, which deals with healing cards. And that did also bring about the same reference about listening to certain level of hertz. But again, it's whatever music if appeals to you, that helps you to bring about your own motivation, to help you stay on course, to help you create that momentum. You don't have to be listening to it while you're creating, but I mean, certainly if you're in the car and you've got music, it helps to revitalize yourself. At least that's what's coming through for the period of July 16th through to the end of August 2020. Okay, so I'll quickly get into the cards themselves. I am using quite a few because I do want to make sure this is, again, some of these energies are going to overlap into the following months, so it doesn't have to be specifically July to August. I feel that for some of you, there might be a little, maybe you've got a lot of projects on the go and you're not able to address all of your creative expression in a shorter period of time, whereas other Libras may be able to devote more time and attention to it, given they have more time off or whatever the situation. And so that's why I feel, as I say, some of these energies are going to play out in months that may go beyond August. But for the most part, for those Libras that I'm speaking to, you're taking some kind of action, another form of action and there is something that's cultivating that is coming through already for that period of July 16th to the end of August. You're going to see some kind of success in some area. When I say success, it doesn't mean you're necessarily skyrocketing right to the forefront. You're on a stage and everything is perfect. But what I am saying is that there is something that is going to show you that you're on the right track and that there is success. And it's going to progress because you have all the cards of growth here. I mean, we've got 9s, we've got 10s, there's and 10s on several fronts. And again, I'm using so many different decks here that it's a repeated message. So it is not something that is vague and unclear. Okay, so I'll just quickly mention. So the first deck I'll just bring forward. These are kind of big and awkward cards, but there's something, when you really feel like reading them, there's something really regal in the largeness of this card. But this is the Golden Tarot, and it is by Packard, and it's the Visconti Sforza deck, and it's by Mary Packard. So this is, again, it's a really regal deck. It's quite nice, but it is a larger card. They have nice, simple meanings to them as well. So there's not a lot of it's great set of cards for those that might be just starting out to tarot as well. The cards that I have toward the back here, this is actually the fortune reading cards here, and this is by Sharina Starr, and illustrations are by Richard Crooks, and I really like that deck quite a bit. And then I've also got the Wisdom of the Oracle cards. Okay, these ones I don't use often, but I really do love the decks. Some decks I just have put away, and I just started pulling them out here. So they are, sorry, just trying to, oh, yeah. Okay, the Wisdom of the Oracle decks. So I'll just quickly mention, I have pulled quite a few, and I'll go through them but they're really pretty cards, and they're definitely a really, they give you a lot of detail, and yet it gives you a lot of detail, and yet it is, goes beyond just the basic definitions, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. So, okay, sorry. And that one is actually I think that one was the Gateway cards. No, Gateway cards, sorry, is I'm bouncing around a little bit here just because, as I say, I have a lot of cards out. But, okay, so that one, I'm just going to go back to that because I think that one was that one I don't use very often, even though, as I say, I know that it's an excellent deck, and it's just because I have so many. That was the Energy Oracle cards, I believe. Yep, that is. That's the Energy Oracle cards, and that is by Sandra Ann Taylor. So again, they're a really nice set of cards, and they definitely give you really good interpretation, really strong interpretations, but goes beyond sort of some of the basic meanings. So definitely, if you're interested in those, worthwhile. I've also got the love this deck also, because everything is fairly straightforward with this one. So, you know, I mean, they're coming into power, manifesting, cultivating prosperity, and just trying to figure out all my decks here. That one is actually again, it's not a deck I often use, but I think that one was the Gateway Oracle cards. Pretty sure that it was. Yes, it is. That's the Gateway Oracle cards by Denise Lynn. Okay, so the next cards would be this one here, the Angel cards. And again, these are cards that I often use actually as well, but that one is I think that one was the one from Colette Barron. Okay. Sorry for the delays on this. Again, it's just because I am using several. I'm going to go back to that one just because I can't find the deck right offhand here. But I also am using these ones here, which are the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. That's by Colette Barron Reed. And those, again, I use fairly often. And I also, oh yeah, that's where it was. These are the Angel Therapy cards. So the Angel Therapy cards are from Doreen Virtue, and I use a lot of Doreen Virtue. She has a lot of great cards. Okay, and then I'm also using a new deck, and well, it's not actually a new deck again. It's a deck that I just haven't used for a while, but I'm pulling some of them out just because they have completely different meanings from, although a lot of the meanings, as I say, overlap or extensions of. But this is actually, it's a really nice deck as well. And this one is the Voyager Tarot. And the Voyager Tarot is from James Wanless. He's a doctor that has a doctorate, PhD, that has written these cards. And they are really, again, really good cards, much more detailed than a lot of the basic cards. And I am also using, this is the Wealth and Wisdom cards, and they just give you some general advice. They're okay. I mean, it's not a horrible deck or anything like that. It's just sometimes just for a little bit of action-oriented details. And I'm also using these ones, which I use frequently. This is actually Numerology Guidance Cards by Michelle Buchanan. And following your dreams, music, communication, surrender. And again, that message is repeated throughout this. So I'll go through all of those. And then I also have, this is another great deck. Love it. This one is actually Just trying to figure out, that was the Wisdom of the Oracle cards, and that's by Colette Baron-Reid. So Colette Baron-Reid, and again, we've got higher power, we've got peace, we've got the fates, soulmates, no place like home, and flexibility. And again, that was another message that was coming through, that you need to have a lot more flexibility and changing your mindset in the way that you deal with some things. I'm also using the Muse, which is a Muse Tarot, which is by Chris Ann, which I really like because it's great for people that where a lot of creative expression is required. So again, this is the deck here. The Moon, Ace of Voices, Page of Materials. I'll pull them all through again forward as we go. And I'm also using the Ancestral Oracle cards. Fairly basic deck, but again, and it's a quick read, but these are by Caitlin Matthews. And again, this is where you're asking, when you need some guidance from your ancestors, this is related to the clans and those that, your ancestors that are coming forward to give you some advice. I am also using the Book of Rune cards. And this one is actually by Ralph Blum. And again, I've got a couple, there's 4 cards on that one. So I did pull quite a few. But again, it's just because I feel the meanings are a lot more unique to the reading. So I'm also using the Archangel, love that deck, Archangel Power cards. And that's the Doreen Virtue Radley Valentine cards. And they're great for advice. So I use those ones as the advice cards. I also have a new deck that I've added in here. And this is the Earth Magic deck. Really, really love this deck. So the Earth Magic cards, I'm just trying to find where I put it out here. Okay, not those ones. All right, this could be a process. There we are. Okay, so these are, it's DNA, and that's the cards there. Tsunami, Wake Up Call, Dragonfly, Island, Waterfall, Effortless. And again, really love that card, those cards. It is fairly easy to read, but straightforward, and but they still give you a little more to the meanings than some of the other basic decks. Really like that one quite a bit. And I'm also using the Sacred Awakening cards, and these are more spiritually based, speaking to the higher realms and sort of your own personal journey. And the Sacred Awakening cards are by Sarah Esther Felix, the Lemurian Temple series. And I am also using 2 other decks. And the Rider-Waite deck, and I'm so sorry, I don't know who the original illustrator and creator of this deck is, but I will bring it forward. I know I've mentioned it in some other readings, but anyway, that would be the Rider-Waite deck. I'm also using the Witch's Tarot Companion. Really beautiful colored cards. Actually, before I show you that one, that would be these ones here. And I'm also using Witch's Tarot is by Dugan, and Steampunk Tarot. Really love that one. Don't know why I don't use it more often. Probably because I wrecked one of the cards. But anyway, that's the Ten of Pentacles there, and that is the Steampunk cards. But again, I really like the way it's very simple, easy to read, but again, it gives you a lot more detail than just some of the really basic tarot cards that are out there. So I think I've covered all of the cards, and I'll just try to get right into the reading. Okay, so again, first off, I did feel that there was a lot of information coming through here that relates to success. So really, as far as where you're headed, I think the journey is pretty well implemented, you know where you're going here. So, and again, it's just about you continuing on the same path. Don't doubt yourself. You're on the right journey. And again, not having too many specific plans because they are going to be overturned and move in another direction, that will help you gain more momentum for that success. So that's why I say having too much detail isn't always to your advantage. It's good to have a plan and start out, but certainly not important that you have everything worked out in the beginning in the way that it's being presented, because you are not going to be adhering to that over time. There's going to be changes. Other people are going to come through. Okay, so I'll quickly mention. So the first card is all about having patience. So I don't feel this is a longer journey ahead. This is something that you've been planning for some time. And again, with the card of patience, we're talking about, you feeling is about slowing down, changing your attitude, and clearing your mind. So I feel with this card, you might be taking on too much anxiety about where things need to go, and that you need to implement some kind of strategy before things, go outside of your control. But you're being asked to continue to build on the same path. So this is also about you may be figuring out why you're so impatient, because when you're impatient, this might be the time to slow down and listen to a certain kind of music that allows you to, get back to a project. So use these kinds of tools to realign you with the direction that keeps you focused and centered and grounded. So you are cultivating change here, but you also need to clear your mind of your anxiety and your worry and where you think you need to be, because everything is unfolding as it needs to. So even if you pushed ahead, the universe is going to slow you down because it has to synchronize. So long as you continue a steady pace, take advantage of the doors of energy that are opening for you, you're going to see growth. So it's about possibly, for other Libras, they may be just spreading themselves too thin, neglecting some relationships, impatient with other people in their life, family members, partnerships, friendships, that kind of thing. And you're just being asked to, to slow down on that front and teach yourself a new skill. By learning to slow down and be patient, you're allowing yourself the opportunity to use that as a future tool where it is likely to be needed to level up. So take the time to practice slowing down, being patient with others, and this is a skill that is worth pursuing. So in terms of career and money, again, it's about delegating, more responsibilities to other people. You might need to write down how you feel about what's going on in a journal, just to release yourself from some of the pressure or the stress that you might be experiencing. But it's a mental skill. Patience is learned, practiced before it's actually achieved. So you need to accept that some projects, some things won't get done. Don't see it as an obstacle. See it as an acceptance of some of the things that you can't control, but in lieu of or in favor of more stronger outcomes. So in other words, you're seeing the chaos around you. You want to create order because as human beings, that's generally what we want to do. Some people operate well in chaos, other people do not. But I think for you, Libra, there is some degree of wanting to control things. And I'm not saying control as a need to get the upper hand and control people, but need to control the elements of your life so that you are able to create a certain degree of peace. But again, allow yourself to let go some of the things that aren't moving you ahead on this journey. Be realistic about what you can expect of yourself and others, and slow and steady is the energy of that card. That's your advice. Okay, so the next card is Mountain, and Mountain is just that. You're climbing the mountain, so you need to know that you're protected as you face these challenges and just to remain cautious. So I did feel that there was some energy coming through, that there is, I don't want to say some impending danger, but I feel it's more along the lines of just you've got some jealousy around you. I feel that whatever this project is or the things that you're working on need to be kept quiet. I wouldn't be vocalizing a lot of what's going on or your successes at this point until you're further beyond in this path. So, but it is a card of being protected. So even though there may be some jealousy and things around you, you are, as I say, being guided, and you're certainly being protected as you climb that mountain. So it's letting you know that you have some things that could trip you up if you allow them to. So in other words, be humble in progressing forward, because it'll help you to lessen some of the confrontations, the quarrels, or the upset or conflicts that might be otherwise brought closer into your sphere. And these challenges would be things that slow you down even further. So again, better to mind your words and be careful about what you share at this time. Build it until it has a stronger footing, and and a lot of the little obstacles will be less likely to, you'll be able to navigate around these obstacles, is basically what I'm saying here. So it's not a good time to, as I say, to over glorify things. Be humble and just tread lightly as you go through, and just be careful about who you trust with your information, because it can also speak to some gossip around you. It can be, people that don't have your best interests at heart with this card. So just to be aware of that, be sensitive to it. So you've also got the Dragonfly, and again, the Dragonfly comes through on several fronts here. So there was other cards that mentioned the Dragonfly. So again, this is about a card of renewal. So have confidence during this time of great joy, renewal, and connection to spirit that you are making some real progress here. You're living your life, or about to live your life, in a very deeper way, a deeper, what used to be unconscious now is more of a conscious awareness. You've got openings of spiritual understanding coming through for you. Your intuition all around is stronger. Dreams might be coming through with some clarity. And I feel, again, there's loved ones that are around you. There's ancestral guidance that's coming through. This isn't just, it's more specific to you, that you're getting this guidance. So there's also, so again, deceased loved one that's coming through might be coming through in dreams, but things will be more uplifting and beautiful, and synchronicities will start to happen, throughout this period. And again, I feel it's going to go even beyond July 16th through to the end of August, because you've got more confidence. And there's, even though I feel that you're doing some soul searching still, and I feel that you're doing some walks down that memory lane. There's still some elements from the past that you're allowing to grow with, whether it was old friends or something from the past. You're doing some kind of reflection here anyway. But the whole point is that your intuition is going to guide you toward your tribe, like-minded people, like-minded friendships. So you might be reconciling with other friendships that you've had in the past, or family members and all of those things. But I do feel that you're getting you're getting some new energy here that's coming in as well. So there's, the Dragonfly also represents constant change and you accomplishing goals. It's about any self-doubts that you have. You're able to navigate, circumvent problems that might restrict you. You're finding yourself to be more adaptable, more flexible, because life is that bit of a roller coaster. There's a lot of things, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. For every high, there's always going to be a low. So you have to be prepared to, go with those twists and turns. And it's really about you overcoming your own self-doubts, also representing those twists and turns and the things that can burn you out. So again, you're being asked to find your confidence here. This is a card of you overcoming some of your own blockages in this period from July to August. And again, with the card of the Phoenix, this is rising out of the ashes. It's a period. Be prepared to be renewed after a period of crisis. So even though you might have had some difficulties along the way here and some loss, something that really, maybe shook you to your core, something that you weren't really, you maybe hadn't anticipated being ready for. But this is really letting you know you're being reborn. This is you moving into a state of magnificence. This is a time when there was some kind of major crisis. There was perhaps a loss, some kind of a breakup of an important relationship, or a loss of an important relationship, a failed business or a project, or something that that ended, that left you, devastated on some level. But this is a card of renewal. So you are actually starting to release something from the past. It represents power. It represents, prosperity in all areas of your life, and it's freedom. And it's about you doing the things that you've always wanted to do. You are now in a place where you're able to rely on, you don't want to waste time on things that aren't going to benefit you now. You're aware of the things that you need to do. You've got a reconnection psychically to friends and lovers and other partnerships. You've got some existing relationships that also will be growing stronger, because this is a new chapter of your life. You are renewed and being seen in a different light. People are now starting to see that there is something that's changed for you. And this is about that yin and yang commitments, and it can represent sort of the birth of a child, but again, it could be symbolically just representing that rebirth or a birth of you and your new self. So again, in terms of money and career and finances, that kind of thing, it's a positive time. Necessary changes that need to take place are taking place, and you are able to rise to this, to the top of the ladder, so to speak. Your finances are improving, all of that. Your creative side is coming out with this card. Talents that you might not have even realized are starting to emerge here. Maybe you've developed, you realize that something that you were always doing can actually be something that can be enterprising for you in terms of money, and you're able to make a business out of it. Again, don't think that because it's been done before that it's not something you should attempt, because on the average, everything's been done before. It's about your interpretation and how you bring it to the world. So you might start out doing it in the way that everybody else or a lot of other people have brought it out, but somebody might also see something unique in the way that you are presenting it, which makes it saleable in a completely different way. So again, be aware that how you're marketing yourself, or how you choose to market yourself, is only one element. I feel that you've already got enough of this skill base that you can present whatever it is you're presenting. Doesn't have to be in a perfect way, because at this point you have enough that's going to bring it to the forefront, and something else, you'll be able to run with it. You're going to be able to build on it with whatever the basis you have right now. We also have, again, it's a combination of cards here, so I've got 4. This is actually the numerology guidance deck, and so this one, again, was a repeated message throughout all of the reading, and it's about surrender. So you need to surrender your attachment to things, in the way that you want to see the outcome. You've got a preferred outcome in your head, but really, that's what I'm saying, is the cards are letting you know, go in a different direction. You already have enough information to just put something out there. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be, completely cultivated, and if you're, for example, building a business, doesn't have to be ideally represented, because it's going to take a different direction than the way you're putting it out anyway. So just remember that any kind of inability to hamper your own success is going to be because you are not surrendering to the process. You're not getting it out there. You're hesitating. Just put it out there. You don't want to impede your own success, because when you feel desperate in putting something out there, it also becomes a blockage. It becomes a blockage in your manifesting. So this is a card of, you can struggle less and attract the things that you desire if you stop resisting and pushing things away and preventing the momentum from things. Detach from the way things need to be in your head. Surrender that outcome. So in order to attract what you want here, the universe is letting you know they're synchronizing things, but you need to get out of your own way here. This is a card that it isn't your job to make it happen. You just need to allow it to happen. So that's where the magic is allowing something to happen, using the divine graces and inspiration to guide you, and use your own gifts, which requires work. Nothing is just handed to us on the average. Everything requires some work. There is some luck and timing that the universe synchronizes to make something happen, but it's never supposed to be, even with a lot of wind. There's a lot of people that gain the money, but they lose it all. There's a lot of stories of that. And the reason why is because they believe that was the end, that was the outcome. It is never the end, that's not the outcome. You're supposed to do something with it. So surrender the outcome that you have in your head and realize that the magic flows when you allow energy to flow. So quit blocking yourself, basically. You need to make some kind of peace with not being so attached to the end result. Okay, so the next card is about communication, and the communication is, basically about, sorry, I'll pull that forward. The communication card is basically about you needing to communicate your thoughts and feelings about speaking your truth and finding the courage to manifest. This is really about you finding your voice. It's about you overcoming any fear of judgment or ridicule. It's about you just accepting things and taking it as you're presenting it. So whatever your idea is, or whatever the thing is that you're trying to manifest, you need to just accept that it will take shape regardless of any comments that other people will have. You will find a way to use the information to successfully bring about your outcome. So this, again, is not about, so whatever, if there are critiques or anybody who is, getting in the way of your voice, you have to remember to detach from your outcome, their outcome, and know that you are okay on this journey. You are okay on this path. Whether it's through writing or speaking or singing or dancing, music, art, whatever it is here for you, you need to find your voice. It needs to come out. And if you are finding some hurdles, write down some of the hurdles of the difficulties that you're having in a journal, type it out or whatever. Go into nature, reflect on it, write it out. Think about some of the things, the ideas that you have and what your feelings are around it. You need to be able to find your voice, choose your voice, and then express it and allow guidance and wisdom to come through from the divine so that you can raise your own vibration here and turn it into a stronger vibration in the world, because you are meant to communicate and express this truth. There is something about your gift that is going to bring light, and it's honest communication, and it is about you standing in your power. It is about you being authentic here. So this is not a project that is wasting your time. This is something that you need to put out there. It has to come out. Okay, so with the card of music, again, I felt that you needed to listen to something that's going to help you to improve your health, your motivation, your mental mindset. I feel that it will improve your quality of life when you start to listen to music, whether it's music from the past that helps you to regain, where you were, where you left off with this goal, this dream. But playing and singing, composing, listening to music that brings you joy, helps to raise your vibration as well and reconnects you to source as well, which I feel you're very much connected anyway. But it makes you much more magnetic when you raise your vibration. So you could be walking down the street and all of a sudden, people start to notice you, or start to notice the things that you're putting out because you're raising your vibration. So this is when you start to consistently feel good. You can make your dreams come true. So again, music is that way to bring things into alignment. And it just takes a few minutes, where you can be inspired and de-stress while you're in the car, listening to this music, while you're doing housework, while you're, taking time to clear spaces so that you actually feel good in those moments, so you've got more flow. It's all about energy. It's all about that natural rhythm and about you having the power to heal your body through music. There's also some interesting research that's been done. If you look into Greg Braden, I believe it's G-R-E-G-G, Braden, B-R-A-D-E-N. And he's written some, or he makes reference to some material that's out there about the brain and the heart having different cells that operate independently and yet in tandem. And again, a lot of these heart-centered projects that we build, there's different energy in the body that also help to raise the vibration. It's not all just coming from the mind. There's something specific to the brain that you might just want to research on that. I won't go into a lot of this here because it'll be a 6-hour reading otherwise. But again, it's about you manifesting your dreams. And again, using your own motivation, using the tools at your disposal to make things happen. So sometimes we have to reflect on the things that were a part of us in the past to be able to use them into the present. Following your dreams is exactly that. It's time to reach out to the stars. It's time to follow your dreams. You're being encouraged to put some action behind your goals now. This is not about you sitting with the idea any longer. It needs to come out. You need to put pen to paper. You need to put some kind of action on a daily basis, no matter how long, even if it is, reading a full book and reading a chapter a week, or writing something, 200 words per day. And then at the end of that week, taking, some concerted effort, making some concerted effort to measure your own progress. But it's concerted effort every day to make that dream happen. It has to happen now. There's something that's being called to you. The energy is right. Things have been synchronized for you. The door is open here. So you don't need to have any fear about competition or things getting in the way. That's always going to be around anytime that you're in pursuit of something that you need to bring to the world. And it will be, for sure everything is going to be criticized on some front, because nobody's going to resonate with everything that you say or do. So, but it doesn't matter, because the point is whatever this project is, it is going to reach some very strong level of success. You are leveling up. You don't have control over how or when things will unfold, but you can let go of the expectation as to when it's supposed to happen and enjoy the moment and realize that there is some magic in that mystery, that there is things in the unknown that are being synchronized here for you, enable for you to make your reality come true. Don't give up on this dream. It is important that it be brought into reality, into fruition. So it's, again, a karmic destiny here. This is about things unfolding in perfect timing. This is about a long-awaited dream. This is not something that, you're just starting with. This is something that you are now pulling together to make happen. The ideas, all the information is there, whether you think so or not. You don't have to be formally trained in every aspect of it, because you're going to learn along the way. Whatever this project is that you're working on, there is a lot of information that you've already acquired that is going to make it happen. So it needs to come out. What you're doing is going to heal people on some level. It needs to come out. I'm going to read, just going to go into these ones here. So this is the Voyager Tarot. So I will start with Sage of the World. Okay, so again, Sage of the World, this is a newer, it's an old deck that I have, but it is a deck that I really, really like, and I'm going to be using a lot more frequently in the readings. I haven't used it too often, so I'll try to be succinct or brief in some of the description here. So Sage of the Worlds is about, through your experience, you are now going to become a master. Whatever this project is, you're going to become a master of it. It is something that, as I said, you've been crafting for some time. It's about mastering the Wheel of Fortune, which again, you've got the Wheel of Fortune here as well. Cycles are turning. Things are moving in your favor. It is a period where you see your reflection in your work here. So this is about performing, fulfilling your responsibilities, cultivating your talents. It is about, being healthy and wealthy and happy and spiritually centered. It's about your knowledge is acquired through your efforts, which is creating quality. So it's about you achieving power and status with this card as well. And it is about you being king of the mountain, so to speak, metaphorically, but again, to stay modest, there's quite a few cards here about you staying modest, keeping it quiet, what you're doing. You're not at that stage yet, but you will be, and about sharing your wealth. So it's not, but make it playful, relax in your work. And it's also about you being fully established in whatever it is that you're working on here. This is something that has always been a calling for you. So it's when you do things of service, you're doing it to give back to the world and leave a legacy. So to undermine yourself by critiquing it and trying to minimize your own effectiveness and how it's being presented is not energizing. You need to know that this is a spiritual path that you're following. This is a divine karmic destiny. And so no matter what, when you learn, grow, and continue to become this master, this path was always destined to happen. You are more in line now than you've ever been in your life to establish yourself. And so have fun with it. Enjoy it, because this is you being of service to people. And it changes the perspective. When you know that you're helping other people, you don't feel that, oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. Somebody's not going to really like the colors of an image or whatever it is, because the point is this is now moved into a place where it's of service. You're doing it because you want to help. And when you're doing something with that in mind, being of service, you won't critique yourself. When you do something in terms of, I'm trying to think of a really good example, which I'm really horrible with on the average, but when you're trying to do something, I hate to use the analogy of cleaning a house, but cleaning a house, because I tend not to enjoy that. But when you're cleaning a house, there's a certain level of satisfaction that comes from, knowing that you've even going to work, knowing that you've put in a good day's work, knowing that you've accomplished something, knowing that people appreciated what you did. That's being of service. It doesn't matter what exactly you were doing, but you felt accomplished in the fact that you achieved it. And a lot of anxiety and procrastination really stems from not completing tasks. So if you have a mountain of things left to do, that lack of completion will cause you to procrastinate and not go forward. So, and again, you can't take on all elements of cleaning the house to the detriment of your own goal setting. You need to learn to delegate. You need to fixate on one thing at a time, complete that, and have a system and process so that you can get on with the other things, so that things are less of a burden on you. Look for shortcuts to the things that have lesser, I don't want to say lesser value, but lesser impact in you being received in the world. Whatever this goal is, certainly is far more important than whether or not you get the dishes done. You can wait a few days before you do the dishes and work 2 hours, for example, on getting something done with your goals. So I'm just kind of using a rough analogy there, but take it as it works for you. Okay, so this card is about compassion. The Three of Wands, and again, each of the readings, each of the cards, the decks have slightly different meanings. Some of them overlap a little bit, so I'm not giving it my own interpretation. Some of it might come through in that way if I see something that is relevant. But for the most part, this particular deck sees this the Three of Wands as the golden mudra, the Buddha's golden mudra of perfection. So it is about being compassionate and embracing some Buddha-like type qualities that, empathy and understanding and tolerance for yourself and for other people, and it's about that hand of the butterfly here is what it's representing, being receptive and accepting yourself and others. So it's about being gentle with yourself and allowing life-giving energy to come through, and you've got some kind of magical touch here. You've got a loving energy. You've got a healing quality. And you need to bring that to the forefront in whatever it is that you're creating here. This is something that you're bringing to the world, that you're becoming a master of. You do have the ability to bring it forward. You might not feel that you do, again, but you do have the ability to bring this to fruition, but you need to work on it on a regular basis and able to manifest it. So the next card is the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups, I feel, is one, I mean, for sure it's an emotional card. It can be a card of sadness, really. And there's some symbology that uses a reference to the dark river of tears and how it symbolizes unfulfilled expectations, that kind of thing. Could be a separation or a death or something along that line. As I mentioned, I felt that there was a sense of loss. I don't know why my camera's not picking up on that image very well, but either way, the Six of Cups is some sense of loss, an emotional time that I feel that you're moving past here. So you do have the courage to overcome this. You've grieved. And it's symbolizing some kind of a resurrection here. So this is a card symbolizing, you moving forward past this period of upset. And it is about that emotional resurrection. So life and vitality is being restored here. Things are being let go of and released. You're able to move forward. So, and again, July 16th through to August, you've got a lot of very, very positive motivational cards. Again, using music and different things to help to revitalize yourself. So the next card is art, and the art card is a representation of creativity. So again, with creativity, which is the expression, the voice you need to find, I feel that whatever this project is, you're using some kind of creative ability to have it come to the forefront. So I do feel a lot of you are creative artists. It's really a Libra quality anyway, to be very creative. And in being creative, you're dissolving old forms, you're recombining things, you're disintegrating or taking apart an image and recreating it in a way that helps other people to resonate with the symbol of it, the symbology of it, or helps other people to see something else in it other than what you had intended. But it helps people to see life in a broader way. So whatever it is that you're creating, you are creating a vision, an idea, that is it's raising the vibration for other people as well. This is a fire spirit, creativity. It is about interweaving all of the things that are creating creative opportunity for you. All of the things that you've done in the past are creating this opportunity. Again, it's whether it's with your hands or writing or, painting, whatever it is, but your feelings determine whether you act with your hands or manifest the vision physically, whatever it is. So use your emotional feelings as an intuitive, allow your intuition to guide those feelings. Don't use the feeling to block you, because you are here to use your voice and to express it in some way that's going to have a really strong impact on the world. This is an opportunity card, something that's coming through for you. Okay, so following that is the card of the Moon. And the Moon card is, again, different decks have some different meanings, but in this particular deck, the Moon has phases. Of course, the phases represent cycles, and this is about you allowing yourself to experience evolutionary changes, some kind of transformation that's taking place, and by creating new beginnings, other people are attracted to you, and you're going beyond, I'm going to say, because there were several cards that came through with you, which I feel are the qualities of you using some of your logic and reasoning and trying to control a situation, I do feel that the unconscious motivations here that are being brought into your awareness have less to do with using that logic and reasoning and changing your perspective and being able to move it into repattern something in a way that is unique. It's not going to be done in a fashion of complete repetition. There's going to be some periods of rapid change and rapid creation, and then it's going to pull back, and then rapid change and something along that cycle, and as well, like moments of inspiration. You might still be working on something in a repeated sort of way, but the transformation is going to come in leaps and bounds. It feels like that kind of an energy here. So you're also looking into the past to be able to see how those things affected you. This is also representing a Pisces image as well, and is symbolized by dolphins. The dolphins in the picture here at the bottom. So what the dolphins symbolize is you're perceiving people's patterns and cycles as well, and you're looking into those past lives or those past relationships, and you're drawing some kind of awareness from it as well, and able to create these new beginnings. So the last card of that Voyager Tarot is the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man, you've got a couple of cards that also, again, there was another card that comes through with the Hanged Man energy. But the Hanged Man is really the upside down man, and it symbolizes the law of reversal. So the idea behind this card is it is victory and success being achieved, but it's being achieved in a way that you would not have expected it to be successfully achieved. So instead of being assertive in creating, sorry, the camera goes out of view here. So instead of creating something in a way that you normally would, you're not having to be assertive, because at this stage of the game, you've already got intuition that's coming through. You're just being guided along the path now. You don't have to push through. You don't have to be forceful. You're supposed to surrender to this idea, because it's an idea of service to the world. It is going to create healing and light in the world, whatever these projects or these things are that you're putting together. So it's a passive surrendering, and that's what the Hanged Man is. This card represents you letting go, surrendering, to the universe, accepting your limitations about, for example, you have an idea about how it's supposed to be represented, how you're going to put something out online, for example, on the web, but letting go of that idea, because you're going to limit yourself. You're going to expand anyway with it, but it's going to take a different trajectory than you initially anticipated. So it's about you transcending the ego here, getting rid of the concept of how you felt something needed to be, and allowing yourself to expand on its own, letting the universe come forward to expand you. Okay, so, all right, so those are... Okay, just trying to decide the next cards that I need to read here. So I think I will read the Book of Rune cards is actually Self and Joy were the cards that are coming through there. I'll just hold up one at a time. So the Self, again, this is a spiritual journey as well, but things are starting to come to fruition here in terms of clarity about the direction you're going. But again, it's that willingness to change is what's effective now. You've got that, a good relationship to yourself. You have a strong understanding. Again, it's about you remaining modest, sharing with other people, that kind of thing, but not sharing the details of what you're doing, but sharing in your success. So your life was intended to have this purposeful direction. This was always karmic. This was always going to happen. So you're striving to live this ordinary life in an inordinary way. So again, your focus is about the Hangman, changing your perspective in the way that you thought you were going to bring something into fruition. It's not going to be that way. It's changing. So it's a time of major growth from, again, July 16th through to August end is when the reading takes place. But I feel a lot of this is going through into the new year of 2021. that sometime in around spring is where you're going to see strong, momentous growth. But again, you will have growth all the way through because this journey is a long one. This is a growth to success. So this is, again, major growth, and it's about kind of reconciling some things before you make that progress. You've already, planted the seeds, you've weeded some of the garden, so to speak, and it's now, being still and waiting for guidance to follow to the next step. So always doing something toward it, incrementally, but the bigger picture is to follow your intuition on this one. So again, it's not a time for you to seek credit, it's about you focusing on results. So you're of service to the world here with whatever this is, and that is what you need to do. You need to be content with that for this period. Learn to play with the idea that you're doing, involving other people, make it fun for yourself. It's it cautions you, not to be careless with your time and your energy, getting too far into an excessive play, that kind of thing, because it's all about creating balance. The self requires balance to be able to find that gateway to be able to be grounded. And able to be grounded, you have to know yourself here. So again, it's finding a way to enjoy what you're doing in a playful way. So the card of joy is the one that follows that. So the card of joy is kind of clarifying the self. And again, that was just about learning to find a way to play and enjoy what you're doing. It's not a time of you being diligently hardworking and grinding, putting your nose to the grindstone. It is really about you having some freedom, because if you have a sense of renewed energy, listening to music and motivation, and being able to go forward by involving other people, and I know it's difficult because not everybody is connecting right now on the level of group situations, but finding new ways to explore the parts of yourself that would better serve the world in a playful way that people can relate to. So if you're too serious about, maybe it's the best way to say it really, is if you're too serious about the project and the thing that you're undertaking and the way it's being presented in the world, people will notice that it's contrived, it's constructed. You need to have fun with it. You need to make it something joyful, whatever this ambition and this goal is. But it's also a time of being clear on where it's headed. It's about that proper timeliness, it's that restoration of yourself that's being properly aligned to bring it to the forefront. Okay, so the next card, the next two cards are all about possessions and disruption. So possessions, in itself can be about, obviously the material things in our life, but I feel that with this particular card here, it's about fulfillment, ambitions, things that are that you're finding satisfaction in. So possessions don't necessarily have to be specific to material things, but things that, can represent, love or genuine satisfaction in projects that you undertake that you're finding some real promise with. This is a card of as above, so below. So it holds true that, whatever's going on in your internal life, if you're making yourself happy, you're able to create that for other people as well. You're calling in a certain type of energy because you're putting it out. So it's about probing a deeper meaning to what the word profit or possession means to you. Because I feel that even though material wealth is coming with this, I feel that the meaning that you had originally assigned to wealth, it has changed. I don't feel it's about the big boat and the prosperity that might all be part of it, but I feel that your gifts and the things that you're putting out to the world have something to do more with self-growth and well-being, which in turn is going to bring about those wealth and possessions. But it's really a card of you being mindful of what wealth and profit really means to you. So again, it's still a card of success and good fortune, but you're not going to collapse in on and be attached to the wealth of these things, because that's not what it means for you. I feel that good fortune is not about behaving recklessly and being overly indulgent. It's about you being well nourished on spiritual levels, reconnecting with family and friends and having deeper relationships and friendships. It's the ability and the willingness to nourish others as well as yourself. So again, just realigning with what you believe wealth to be. There's also disruption here with this card, but this is really about you breaking free from anything that was constricting you, and that idea of material reality and what it really meant. And I think sometimes that caused the blockages that don't allow us to move forward, because you weren't acting in service. You were looking at a perspective of, I need to have this because I need to have stability in my life. So in changing your perspective of what material reality means to you, giving back to the world in a way that heals the world, and allowing some of the events, the things that you couldn't control, to see those things as part of what you needed to disrupt you so that you could awaken to a deeper sense of meaning and what you needed to experience in the world. That's what disruption really is here. It's a gradual feeling of coming to your senses here. This is a card of that aha moment, that emerging from some kind of, like a deep sleep. You're regaining an onset of power here. You understand yourself, your work, your relationships. You have a stronger idea of what your beliefs are. You're not really in a position of being at mercy for things to impact you. You're in a place of power here. This is where your own nature is creating what's happening. This is about you having the power to make these changes, and it's coming from your inner strength. It's about you being aligned with yourself. It's about coming from a purposeful place of service. It is about you seeing the bigger purpose for yourself, and therefore any challenge that comes forward doesn't seem like a challenge at all, because your purpose is a greater one than whatever obstacles are in front of you. So whatever disruptions or damage that may get in the way, or obstacles or challenges, realize that your purpose is bigger than that, and you are going to have the fortitude necessary to go beyond it to create growth. So there may have already been this disruption in your life that has caused you to realign and rebalance and sort of revisit who you are. Or it may be, something that's coming, but either way, it does feel like it's more along the past, but for a lot of you. But I do feel that your soul is demanding that you grow, and you need to not be afraid of the challenges, because your destiny is a greater one. What you're putting out into the world is going to be bigger than the obstacle that you're going to face. The obstacle is just honing things in and challenging you to sort of resculpt. Sorry for the noise out there. But it's just about resculpting how you present something. So again, disruptions are just a way of reorienting the goal. Okay, so the next card, which I'm going to read the ones at the back here. Just have to reach over. Again, so that is The Wisdom of the Oracle Cards by Colette Baron Reed. So, higher power, I think that is pretty self-explanatory, and definitely it is a strong message. The higher power is really about intuition. It's really about the divine coming through, you making conscious contact with spirit. But I also strongly feel you're getting deceased loved ones coming through for you, that are very present in this reading. There is, when you have source energy, or when you have any kind of intuitive insight, it really broadens your perspective to see things on a really large scale, which means, you have, with a more expansive mind, you're able to see many ways of doing things. You're able to understand people better because you have a better understanding of where they're coming from. So in having that expansive mind with source energy, being gifted to you, you're able to express yourself. You're able to find your voice. You're able to bring that through into our material world. But it's also about you continuing to make that connection, and that connection. There was a few cards that also spoke to you requiring meditation. So I feel that a lot of you, even if you take a few minutes just before you get out of bed, or just at the end of the night, just a few minutes, just 4 minutes a night, just to ask what it is that you need to focus on. Ask what it is how can you overcome a situation, or broaden your understanding of what it is that you feel might be an obstacle or a challenge, or what it is that you need to know at this time. But I feel these will be very strongly insightful periods that allow the highest good to come through, not just for yourself, but also for others. So again, it's about you getting out of your own way, trusting the universe. There is a plan here. And you're already on it. You're already on this path. This was always the path you were supposed to be on. You're very connected to spirit, your ancestors, and this partnership should always be your number one priority in helping to guide you, because you need it to be able to bring it to full fruition. And I feel that you are aware of your true nature now. I feel that you are getting the message. I feel, things are already flowing to you. Ideas are coming through. You need to, take these inspiration bubbles and write things down. You need to make good use of them. Don't forget to use that insight when it's given to you. It's not just a unique perspective that makes you feel good for the moment. You need to write it down. You need to connect it to something. You need to know that it's coming through for you to begin the project, for you to negotiate a deal, for you to, succeed, period. This is about those nudgings, those synchronicities, those moments where you're feeling inspired and confident to move you forward in the right direction here. So again, this is not a time, be humble. It is not a time for you to, broadcast your success. It's important that you be very humble. Many cards speak to that. Do not speak of what you're doing to anybody at this time. You can share the wealth, so to speak, as it comes through, as you are gaining momentum and success, but let it be shared in positive energy. Let it be shared in, connection, family, friends, that kind of thing, in a positive way. It's about humility, because you are of service to the world with this, and it's not about being center stage and taking recognition, even though you are going to get a lot of that with it. This is also about, in terms of money, partnerships and those kinds of things, that you're in good hands. It's a positive outcome. So again, I felt that you've got some feeling of anxiety or burden that was still, coming through, but overall, you are in a very strong period during July and August. Peace is what's also coming through here. So again, with peace, I feel that you have reached a point where you're centered. I feel that you are at a place, doesn't mean that there's no problems or difficulties or challenges coming through, but what it does mean is that you feel free. You know, you're not attached to the problem anymore. You have a level of acceptance. You've got a quieter mind. I feel that a lot of you pulled back anyway from people. You were in, you know, possibly a bit of a hermit mode, or, you know, where you were doing some inner soul searching, you know, and redefining yourself, but it's a heart-based place here. You know, this is where you've got some level of satisfaction within yourself. You've got acceptance, you know, there's something that's bringing you peace and harmony, and you realizing that things are happening the way they were supposed to happen, you know, and that you're in alignment. There's harmony that's being brought about because you have stepped into your power. You've got a clear sense of what you're supposed to create. And just being you is enough here. And you are aware that you have some degree of calmness, and it's showing in your work and the things that you're putting out to the world. You are trusting that process. So again, it's not that there isn't problems and difficulties that still will always come up, because we are dealing with the world at large, but it's also about knowing that you have the, as they say, the notes to the music in your life. You know, you have the tools to overcome the things that might, you know, get in your way, and you're just going to have to use those tools to fine-tune whatever situations, like tweaking the radio station to get it exactly where you need it. You just need to fine-tune is all you need to do now. You're not going to have big blockages and hurdles at this stage of the game. You're just fine-tuning things and getting ready to, you're finding inner certainty as well. It's not coming from the external world. Other people aren't giving you your sense of identification. You're able to find that for yourself. You're able to be a resource for yourself. So we also have the fates coming through. And the fates card is really, again, about fate. It's karma, the things that you are destined for here. It's about you accepting the things you can't change. You know the things that you are here for. You know, you've got a path that you're willing to take the courage on, and you've got the wisdom to make it happen. You know, it's about a greater purpose with the fates. I don't want to say everything is preordained, but I feel that there was always some experiences that we were meant to go through in life. And again, when you have more insight from the divine, the path is easier versus harder. The challenges will always be there, but the way in which you deal with the challenge is for sure within your control. And again, if you have the insight from the divine, you see a broader angle or perspective or resolution to things, which allows you to minimize the impact. And so I feel that a lot of the process, again, the journey that you're on is going to be one of just fine-tuning things now. And not being too perfectionistic, because it's all going to change. Whatever idea you're putting out into the world right now is going to change in the way that it's being presented, and that may or may not be visible to you right at this point, but it will be as time goes along. And again, I feel there's collaboration of some sort that's involved on that. But again, accepting the things that you don't have control over. I feel that you're destined to go through certain life lessons, but the choice is yours in the way that you choose to accept those lessons and the path that you choose there. So again, you know, I think it's more purposeful that we have that little bit of mystery in our lives, because when you don't have the ability to unearth yourself, things aren't as satisfactory. It's important to be able to gain insight and do it incrementally. If we had all the answers, knew the end of the chapter, or knew the end of if we knew the end of the book and how things turned out, the journey that the archetype of the character in a story, you know, went through to get there, the end of that novel would be less intriguing if you had no comprehension of the character and his journey. Sorry, I was looking for the best way to put that, and that's probably the best example I can find. You know, so it's important that you know that your journey, incrementally opening up, gives you confidence and inspiration, and just makes the pathway that much more interesting. So again, It's about acceptance. You are on a path where you're meant to be, and you just have to let things unfold as they will. It's a time to accept the things that you can't change, and you wouldn't want to change other people to make things mold around your goal or dream. You have to find a way to make it manifest, but always hanging on to the idea that your purpose is service-based. It's bringing light to the world. It's bringing something very significant that is going to impact the world. Your experiences are where your prosperity and your abundance are coming from. This is not only benefiting you, but it's benefiting others. So just to ride it out. Don't fight it. Surrender to it. Again, it's another card of surrendering, to the message. It's, we don't always understand the painful things that happen to us because we're only meant to take a message from it or use it to gain insight so that we can rise up to our destiny and become empowered by it. But that takes surrendering to that acceptance. So life only gets better if you believe in that. And just to be mindful of, again, the things that you can change and the things that you can't change. Everybody else is on their own journey as well. So trying to over control them is not going to serve you in the greater scheme of things. So the next card is soulmate. So I feel that there is some kind of a soulmate energy, whether it's a friendship or you can even have a soulmate in family relationships, partnerships, friendships, intimate relationships. But a soulmate is really a harmonious partnership, and it's something that it's a type of companionship here that is fostering personal growth. So whoever this is to you, or if this isn't somebody you've already met, friend or otherwise, this is somebody that is meant to evolve and transform you and that companionship that you have. So again, if it's not somebody who's entered into your life yet, it will be, but I feel that most of you know who this is and that you're on to that next level of healing. So it's about, being conscious and authentic, and it's about that reciprocated, strong pull towards, one another. And again, it can be friends as well, but it's somebody who's remaining a constant in your life on some level. It can be even just a short-term connection with the soulmate person that it's helping you to transform, but the residual of that connection is the gift. So it makes you more powerful, more empowered, and that bond is helping to rescue or heal you, whatever that connection is, and guide you back to the real you, the person you have maybe not yet realized you are, but I feel that you're on that journey and you are aware of elements of it for sure. But when you truly know who you are, you feel courageous, you feel empowered, you feel inspired, you're able to move forward, and you don't feel unflinched by the journey ahead because the purpose is greater than the outcome of those moments. So again, this is about you being strategic in terms of, and with your alliances and attracting the right people to support your dreams. And that journey is a shared journey that I feel for you, whether you're gaining mentors or business partners or other helpers, supportive people, employees, creative partners, friends, or other strangers that might be coming into your sphere. It is still about that collaboration, that sense of commitment, and it's something you've been waiting for, and you're looking into the mirror and you're seeing a change for the better. So it really is a dynamic relationship that is healing you, and it is sacred, and it's helping you to learn. Even when it's uncomfortable, it is still for the greater good. It is a gift. There is 2 more cards in this part of the deck, and that's No Place Like Home. So that one is, again, it's a card of authenticity and again, sitting in your power, you don't need to become anybody else but yourself here. You have a feeling that you're at home in this position of who you are becoming now. I feel that you feel like you just fit in and you're comfortable in your own skin. You feel relatively safe and secure. And again, this is for not every Libra out there, but certainly for a lot of the Libras that I'm speaking to, because this is a general reading, and it's about you knowing that you have the